Your knowledge, what we'd be interested in, that regulatory agencies like the TGA that banned ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, what is the extent, in your knowledge, that they've been funded by the very pharmaceutical companies that the TGA were meant to regulate?
Well, as the old saying goes, he who pays the piper calls the tune. And we had in this country, I think it was something close to 96% of the funds that were coming into the TGA come in from these big pharmaceutical companies. So you can't tell me these big pharmaceutical companies were almost acting as agents for these big drug regulators. And remember, the program of the vaccinations, the COVID vaccinations, it was a worldwide $200 billion industry. And what stood between that $200 billion industry was ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine being allowed to be used.
Yes, yeah. We don't know to this day what we have paid those drug companies for everything which was allegedly free. You know, the test was free, the vaccine was free, the booster was free, the taxpayer paid. We've never been told. Well, but I mean, the TGA, therefore, the Therapeutic Goods Administration, which is the regulatory body, is not an independent institute, which it was founded to be.
Well, you'd have to question their independence. If you look at the decisions they made, how quickly they were just to adopt the drug industry's recommendations on those vaccines, how quickly they were to authorise them to be injected in young Australians. Now, there was a time here when the drug Moderna, the US regulators hadn't approved it in the US for young people under 18, the same throughout Europe, and yet the Australian regulators, the TGA, said, yeah, it's fine, shoot this stuff up into the arms of Australian children, when even the regulators in America said weren't convinced of the safety of it.
This stuff needs a Royal Commission, doesn't it?
Look, it needs more than one Royal Commission, Alan. You could run half a dozen Royal Commissions, but you need the power of a Royal Commission to get these people into the witness box, to get a good prosecution, a good barrister in front of them, to cross-examine these people under oath, to force them to produce documents and emails. But unfortunately, Mr Albanese wants to cover all this up because he knows he and the Labor Party, as well as the Liberals, are just as badly to blame, but he was complicit in this as well.
Absolutely. I mean, your former colleague, Russell Broadbent, from the seat of Monash in Victoria, lost pre-selection recently because of his vaccination stance, where he argued that people should have freedom of choice. You and Gladys Berejiklian and others, not you, Gladys Berejiklian and others were frightening the tripe out of everyone. Yes. I remember when Gladys said, thousands could die. Our decisions will be made on medical evidence. Over and over again, I said, Gladys, give me, Scott Morrison, give me one sheet of paper which justifies what you are doing, and they could produce nothing.
Didn't exist. Well, we know, Alan, from original Pfizer trials, and this was only found out because someone in America took Pfizer and their regulators overseas to try and produce the documents. And documents that they were trying to hide and bury for 75 years, that because of that court order became public light. They show that during the Pfizer's own trials, there were more deaths in the vaccinated group than there were those in the placebo group that weren't getting the vaccine. More deaths in the vaccinated group. These vaccines should have never been approved because of that. They should have never been approved because of the alternative treatments. We've spent billions and billions of dollars in this country. Remember, Greg Hunt ordered 250 million doses of these vaccines. That's enough for 10 shots for every man, woman and child in this country. That's how much that were ordered in this country. Right, yeah. The contracts are all hidden. As you said, we don't know how much how they paid on it, what the terms and conditions of these things were. But we do know, Alan, that it was a breach of international human rights for these things to be mandated upon Australians.